So I would say the most important philosophical topic would be free will. Or perhaps the free will versus determinism debate, right? And we're talking like either like free will or strict determinism, what's sometimes called like fatalism. Like you either have a motherfucking choice or you don't. Alright? Like, like let's look at it like that. Like either there is some sort of conscious action that you can take. Like you can have an impact on existence. Whatever the fuck you are, we'll get into that later. Maybe. Anyways, so either you have a choice or you don't. Alright? So some people, look at it and say, there's scientific determinism, saying that, like, nah, man, we got it all figured out with the science, All there are these causal laws, these causal actions, and they determine everything, and, things are pretty much determined, or are determined at the Big Bang, and then, through the basic laws of physics, things just happen, and, galaxies and shit and stars are going to form and all this stuff, and then, that's just, it's all the laws of physics, and there's no room for some conscious agent that can actually have some causal efficacy in an interaction with the system, because the system works through this deterministic set of laws. That's kind of the scientific, all right, that's a perspective extrapolated from a scientific view. Not all scientists support scientific determinism, really. It's not like it's like, nah, you either, you're into science or you're not, It's a lot of different fucking scientific views. But, you can look at that saying that, like, there's either, the scientific deterministic view, and then there's and then free will just doesn't fit into that picture. And that's kind of the mainstream view of physicalism. You break down simply. Okay, right? But here's the thing. That's a fucked up view, this deterministic view. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. It's shitty philosophy. There's no, like, saying that you don't have any like, you can't do shit. You have no fucking actual choice in your life. You're just you're not even fucking anything really then, What the fuck? Why would it's just all consciousness, it's just some illusion, some epiphenomenon produced in the brain, and, it's just all this shit happening, and you're not really fucking able to choose what you feel or think, have any impact on your existence whatsoever, or existence. And then, so if you extrapolate it to the point which the view basically suggests, that basic physicalistic, materialistic, scientific, deterministic mindset, that existence itself will play itself out. Well, all right, one way you can say, would it play itself out one way? So, like, are you fucking telling me that you think all that exists is just one state, like this one possibilities? Like, that's what's happened. Just one possibility of existence, and it's this. Like, where there's some dude right now making some fucking video for YouTube, blabbering off, wearing some cool fucking shirt. Thanks. You like the shirt? I don't know. I picked it out of the thrift store, yeah. It is a cool shirt, I think. Anyways, so that's what you're saying? That's all that's happening? Some dude talking about his fucking shirt on YouTube? What the fuck? You think that's the only possibility for this whole... I mean, what? No, there's other things going on over there. But I'm talking about, right, that I don't have a choice to wear some other fucking shirt right now. But you could still say that, all right, well, then there's an infinite amount of universes. But you still don't have a choice because it's on all the causal efficacy of the laws of physics. That, yeah, there's other universes with the other laws of physics, but that's set laws of physics. Or whatever the fuck you're talking about. So, but still, you got the, even if you are saying there are infinite other universes. I mean, obviously it's ridiculous to think there's just one universe following one set of laws, and that's just all there is, man. That's just it, bro. That's all there is, dude. This, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous philosophy. It's not even, barely philosophy. Anyways. So what I'm saying here is, alright, so then you could say there's still infinite, but then you could still be a determinist, okay? And here's the thing. Alright, well, let's say this first. Alright, so what I'm saying is, but then, wait a tick. If there's this kind of, if you look at it just as like, this fourth dimension of time, you know, and there's like this block universe, so that everything that can happen, could happen, will ever happen, you know, is already exists in some timeless state. All right, you know what I'm saying here? Like, all existence is just fundamentally some timeless state, and we're just experiencing time through whatever you could say. I mean, our state of consciousness, or, you know, or some sort of shit. Like, we're just experiencing time through that. You could say this, okay? I mean, we are experiencing time through our state of consciousness. I would agree with that point. I mean, really, time is just a means. Time and space are a means through which our consciousness interprets reality. But anyways, all right. So then you could say, nah, dude, you don't actually create anything. You just exist. I mean, you can maybe choose one state or another, but you can't actually create anything. Because everything that could ever exist already does exist. You, as an entity, don't have the power to actually create. All right, and that's like, okay, well, all right. But then you can get into this shit, you know, of what I was saying, how time and space are just a facet of the way we interpret a reality, the reality, whatever. So then, that's still really not the point. Then it's either, do you have a choice to choose one reality over another? And if that's true, what could all hold us into the same reality? So let's say I'm at this point now, and I can have options A or B. I choose A, and you're over here, and you have a different set of options. How can we stay connected in the same universe if every time we make a new choice, or any choice, we branch off into a new universe of these infinite potentials? How can we stay connected? You gotta have some explanation for that if you want to have free will within that, which ultimately would come into something. Well, maybe there isn't. Maybe you do exist in your own reality. That's really not my point here, and that's some interesting shit that I will probably talk about in some other video. But let's go back to this. Free fucking will, bro. Alright, so what I'm saying here is, it makes no fucking sense to believe in some sort of deterministic reality. Some fatalistic, like you don't have any choice. Like, nah, bro, you don't have any choice at all. You just gotta sit back and watch the show, dude. You have no power over your existence or existence itself. Existence has no power to choose what it wants to do. Alright, that's real fucked up. Why? Well, because the point basically I want to make kind of is that, you know, alright, so let's say it's true that you don't have any fucking choice. Like, there's no such thing as any sort of causal efficacy from some sort of agency or some sort of existence having a choice on what it perceives or does or feels. Alright, so if that's true, then you have no choice to actually believe one thing or another. So if you believe that you are free and do have the choice, and you're wrong, then you couldn't have done otherwise, because you were determined to believe that you didn't have a choice, or you did have a choice. So like, if you don't have a choice, if there's actually determinism, then, and you believe you do have a choice, you didn't have a choice otherwise. See what I'm saying here? It's like, it didn't matter. So you might as well pretend you have the choice. Even though you always think you're making choices up in your head. Like, I don't know what the fuck other people are thinking, but I'm certainly making choices over here. Like, what kind of choice should I make? Should I stroke my beard here? What about here? Alright. So, yeah, fucking determine that. Alright, so what I'm saying is, so we're left with just, why the fuck would you believe anything other than you do have the choice? Because you can't really be wrong. Because if you don't, then it wasn't you that had the choice. It's not you that's wrong. You can't fucking be wrong here by believing that you do have a choice on your existence. Now, what should you do with this choice? What should you do? What would be the best choice to make about how to exist. So, if you think, well, I should do what's best for existence. Best for me, even. Okay? Yeah, seems like that's what you want to do. You want to do what's best. You wouldn't want to do what's worse. Because no matter how you define it, like even to say, no, I would rather do what's worse, then that's best to you, and that's what you'd want to do. So, there's really no way out of this. You know what I'm saying? So, what would be best? This would have to relate to your state of consciousness. What you want, I would presume, what I would want, what I do want, is the best feeling available. I want to move towards the highest state of consciousness. The best feeling. That's what you have. That's what you are. The feeling. Is that what you are? No, that's a little, there's more details. But right, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got these feelings, man. I feel good. All bubbly or something. You got these feelings. And so what you'd want to do is move towards the highest state of feeling. And if you don't want to be selfish about it, in terms of thinking that you're just this body having these feelings, or this person having these feelings, you might say, I want the best feeling for everyone, overall. All right, some kind of utilitarian thing, But what would that mean? And so then, what are you even? All right, so what the fuck are you? Are you your memories? Or are you just everything tied up into this position? What? Yeah, that was confusing. What? So, if you say what you are is just this person, like, who are you? Like, I'm a guy in a chair. This guy in this chair. Okay. For most practical purposes, interacting with our society, yeah, I'm this dude, sometimes in this chair. Not always. Because this is not a wheelchair. Even if it was, sometimes you get out of it. So I'm not always in this chair. I sit in other chairs. Sometimes I sit on a couch. Sometimes I even stand. Anyways. So, basically what I'm saying is, what you are is all of existence itself, perceiving itself through this certain facet, right? And then you can't really deny, that's just kind of, it's pretty easy to argue here, because that's what you are. If you just forget about everything and try to comprehend the nature of existence itself, you are the nature of existence itself trying to comprehend itself. You follow me here? You know what I mean? It's fun. I'm making this video and I got the screen in front of me, and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So I'm like, are you following me? I was like, dude, I'm following you. Are you following me? Like, I'm following you. I am you. What? Are you me? But we all are each other. Because it's all one thing. Existence is one thing. Whether there's fucking multiple universes, which I contend there has to be to some extent, because there's not just one possibility of all of existence. That'd be fucked up view. Every fucking thing's possible. It's infinite. There's, right? How can it not be? How could there be anything outside of it to contain it if it is finite? Existence itself. All the universes. All the possible modes of space-time and beyond space and time? What? Yeah. There's got to be something beyond space and time for space and time to come about. Otherwise, there would just be... How could there not be something beyond space and time? How, if you believe in the Big Bang or something, there's got to be... To speak about the moment before the Big Bang kind of doesn't make any sense, because then you're talking moment before time. The land before time? Dinosaurs? But no, it's not. We're not talking about that movie. Or are we? No, we're not, actually. So, we are not? Or no, I am not. Whatever, man. Anyways, so what I'm saying here is, yeah, so there's got to be something beyond space and time. And ultimately, consciousness comes from something beyond space and time. And space and time are a particular mode through which our consciousness operates. And there might be some, we could call them extraterrestrial consciousnesses in this, what some people call this higher dimensional, higher density consciousness, which is not the type of space-time mode consciousness, or at least not the physical reality, material, perceptual consciousness that we are immersed in. Alright, but ultimately it's all connected to each other, and it's all this, so like the dimensions are all part of it. Alright, and I've been trying to figure that out a lot, and it's confusing shit, and that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is what to do with freedom, because freedom does exist, and what, so ethically, are there things you should do and shouldn't do? So if you are just the entirety of existence itself, perceiving itself through this manner, which, alright, you can try to argue, but I don't really see how you can. Like, no! You're separate from the existence. You're not it. You're just the human. It's like, well, yeah. It's like you can't comprehend the entirety of existence itself. It's like, I sure damn can't. But I try so hard. So damn hard. Sorry, I should put that away. No. I try hard to figure out the nature of existence. I wasn't making a reference to how horny I get making these videos, dude! No. What the fuck was that? Something just echo? Anyways. Alright. So, back to the philosophy. Alright, so what I'm saying here is, what should we do with ourselves after 2 when everything looks like a tree? Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. See, if this was determined, who would have predicted this? Anyways, I sure didn't. I'm fucking doing it. Alright, so back to life, back to reality. See, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I think I'm just starting to sing and just do nonsense. No, but I'm getting somewhere, bro. Or sis, or mother, or father, or arthropod. I know about you watching these videos. Actually, I don't really know what an arthropod is. Anyways, I don't. It doesn't really matter. Alright. So, what you would want to do, if you had a choice, would be to choose the best state of consciousness, right? So you'd want to move towards the best feeling overall. And so even if you make it towards yourself, if you're saying like this, you're just this dude, this person living life, you'd want to be the happiest, right? It's like, well, what do you really want? And it's like, you want, no matter what it is, it's like, I want a big car so I can drive around. Well, you want a fast car maybe, but whatever. You just want a nice car so you can drive around and pick up hookers. It's like, dude, wouldn't you want real? No, I want hookers. No, like what? Maybe you want hookers because you think that would make you feel good, But I wouldn't know. Anyways, I can imagine, But all right. Enough about fucking hookers. Fucking hookers. Now, so, Philadelphia Freedom. I'm not going to sing it. I really want to, but I'm not. Anyways, so it's got, this freedom. You want to choose the best state of consciousness, all right? Consciousness. That's the most important thing to existence. What could be more important than the feeling? Because consciousness isn't only about, human consciousness or animal consciousness, like, what I'm saying here. There's got to be consciousness beyond just what it means to be human, and, there's got to be all different levels of consciousness, because it can't just be this little thing over here. Ooh, I'm conscious as a person. I walk to work, and I feel like sometimes I'm hungry, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm horny. Woo, that's consciousness. Yeah, that's part of it. But that, I mean, that's not the whole thing. And so if you have this choice of reality, if existence itself has the choice of what it could be, it would want to be the best feeling that it could possibly be. Okay? And you are a factor, a little like a thing trying to help existence be the best feeling that it can be. Okay? So what you would want to conduct your choices on is towards perhaps, you know, what I'm saying here. Maybe the best thing to conduct your choices on, to make your choices, would be for the best state of consciousness, the best feeling for what existence can be. Okay? So what can this mean? What's the best state of feeling for what existence can be? All right. So consciousness. So the mainstream view of consciousness, you know, like I was alluding to earlier, is that I'm pretty sure if I allude, I didn't elude. That's like that, right? Anyway, Jesus, gotta stop getting distracted making these videos. This could be a fucking 10-minute video, but instead I just ramble on, sing, and I haven't not danced. I want to. Now you make me want to dance. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to be somebody to love. All right, so I fucking forget what I was even talking about. We're talking about existence. Of course we are. Can you talk about anything else? Not really. So you want to make, so the mainstream view of consciousness in, you know, let's just call it in philosophy, which it is science philosophy. See, you know, now my background's in philosophy, studied it in school, you know, right? Between two different schools and all this shit, additional studies, you know, just been trying to be a philosopher. But, you know, the schools, they don't, well, you know, the high-level academic paradigm of philosophy is fucking ridiculous. Because it's, you know, the main perpetuation of ideas. It's not what everybody thinks. In fact, I don't think anyone really, I mean, only fucking a few people who just go along with what they think they're supposed to think just go along with this. And everybody, like, deep down feels like, you know, something's not right about this. But somehow there's this control structure to have this paradigm overwhelming over the top. But it's fucked up. And that's a whole nother video of why they want to, why would they teach you that you're not, why is free will not a part of philosophy? Why is there this deterministic, physicalistic mindset in philosophy? Why is this the overall paradigm? And I'll give you a hint. Because somebody might want to control you by teaching you that you don't have a choice. Because, you know, people would be easier to control if they don't even believe they have the choice in the first place. So you just tell them to, you know, follow these orders. You know, it's like religion. But now they replace that with science as this overarching control paradigm. All right, that's some deep shit, man. That's some real deep shit. So we're getting back to the point. So, you know, so let's just say the main view just says, you know, you're just a bunch of matter spinning around, fidget spinning, you know. Matter playing with its fidget spinners and its dick spinning, sticking its dick in fidget spinners. Which would be pretty big fidget spinner or pretty small dick. Take your choice on that. Alright, so is that all there is? Just matter, you know, interacting through these laws, and, you know, somehow life comes about, evolves through this random process, which, whatever. You know, why is this laws of physics random process? Which, I mean, you know, it's not like incompatible, but it is kind of weird. Alright, but you know what I'm saying? So, you got this, and then consciousness is what they call this epiphenomenon of the brain. How, you know, so, but it's just, you know, so basically it's just some illusion, sometimes they call it, you know, of the brain. states, and it's just all this shit. And it's this deterministic mindset. And so basically it's like inert, non-conscious matter comes out in like it just somehow magically produces consciousness, but consciousness isn't really important. It doesn't actually do anything. It's just there. I mean, it's a really stupid view. I mean, it took me a while to actually like really, really catch on to exactly what it was, but like it's fucking dumb. All right. So, and that's the kind of mainstream view, oversimplified, and it's like, well, this is much we know. Now we got to film it. It's just like, well, how does this help us? Well, it helps us figure out what we should be able to do with how we can interact. Like, no, it helps us make choices on how we should interact. But you're saying we don't have the choice. But you know what? That's what fucking dumbasses do. They don't make any fucking sense. It's dumbass philosophy, and this is a huge deal. Why are we listening to this? It's fucking bullshit. It is utter bullshit. Seriously, it is. All right. So my point was that view's there. That's whatever. But then you got, so that's the view of, inert material states, and then consciousness comes out of some interaction through advanced complex interactions of neuronal computation shit, whatever, however you want to look at that. Obviously there's a lot of details and shit along the way that they think, and it's not that... Within its context, it can be applied and create accurate predictions to an extent. And that's why it's useful. And I'm not saying it's completely not useful. I mean, it has its regards, but it's not a good overall philosophical system. Because any philosophical system that doesn't allow for your own or any conscious choice of existence just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's pointless. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, but that's what there really is. But well, fuck it. That's what it really is. I choose not to believe it. But you don't have that choice. Well, but then I'm determined to do it. Like, whatever, man. It's like, whatever, dude. You don't make any fucking sense. I used to believe this shit. So I say it took me a while to really kind of figure this out, like what I was being taught in school, metaphysics. It's not really even metaphysics. Reductionism is not really metaphysics. I was pretty disappointed when I took a class on metaphysics and it was about reductionism, and I'm like, wait, I wanted to actually learn about fucking metaphysics. And so I've spent the last several years learning online about metaphysics, and metaphysics is very important, but this isn't really about metaphysics, although it's always about metaphysics, man. Anyways, so what are we talking about here? So yeah, all right, so basically the point is there was this separation between mind and body created by Descartes, basically, and so he separated mind, body, and had this dualistic philosophy. And then science is born to study the body, this machine-like universe. I got a whole video on that. I think it's called The Nature of Existence. WTF is going on? All right, but where I talk more about how the evolution of the science born out of Descartes' separation of mind and body, where this machine-like universe was born, and then so this is how they interacted with it to separate the superstitions of religion, God, and all that from science, so they could do science without worrying. So science was born not worrying about any conscious interaction and trying to escape from any subjectivity going on there, thinking like science is objective, but the universe isn't. It doesn't really work that way because we do interact with it in subjectivity. So then the quantum mechanics was born out of eventually 100 years ago or so, and all this shit. But really, let's talk about free will. And so my point was basically that there's not this separation of mind and body like Descartes was saying, but there's not this illusionary consciousness like the science is born out of that. some science. This is modern materialistic science. To say science, I mean, there's different science. I mean, I studied a lot of good science. Wasn't taught it in schools. You know, that's my point. It's like, the shit they teach in schools isn't the good shit. You gotta find that on your own. But luckily, we got the internet, and it's not just for porn, you know. You can also look at cat videos. But when you're done with that, you can do research. And I would recommend doing more research on philosophy than looking at porn and cat videos. But to each his own. Anyways. So, I don't watch many cat videos. I don't like cats. I like Bengal tigers, because I'm a Bengals fan. The Cincinnati Bengals football team. Alright, enough of this nonsense. You know, if I had a fidget spinner, I'd probably just be spinning my fidget spinner and I would never get distracted because that's what they're for. You know, hey, I got ADD, spin this. Hey, whoa, woo, yeah, now I know everything. Anyways, so we're talking about basically, so there's another view of science you could say where, you know, let's just simplify. Let's just say, you know, it's all consciousness, and consciousness, every little thing is conscious. And so everything works like there's all these little systems. First, there's this like basic, the smallest state of bit of information called like a PSU. All right, I'm not going to get into many details here. You know, I'm just going to barely, you know, to give a very rough picture of how this could work here, because this is very important and pretty fucking awesome. All right, so everything's conscious, and the way it comes out of being is because if it's there in the universe, this universe, whatever, there has to be an awareness of it. The awareness is intrinsic. It's fundamental. Okay, it's not something that just comes out of nowhere through this complex interaction. The complex interaction is a specific type of awareness that comes out through that means. Okay, so there's not just like, you know, so Descartes' view was like you have this separate soul from this materialistic reality, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like those are infused. Okay, so there's this infusion. So like consciousness and existence, anything that exists is fundamentally conscious through its own basic state. There's this fundamental awareness of what there is. So like there's this like bloop, one little piece of information. You know, so an atom has an atom state of consciousness. Okay, that's fucking weird, but that's not the point yet. Well, I mean, so all these little systems work up. So, you know, you got these atoms, you got these basic building blocks, which, you know, through these various subatomic particles or whatever they are, you know, you get atoms which interact, and then you get like molecules, and then, you know, you get like, you know, a cell and all this shit. So, and then, so, you know, look at it basically, you know, cells do this communication structure. So, like, each cell has an awareness and then, like, this basic communication. So, you know, it can perform its function. Okay? And so, we're made up of a bunch of cells. Just a bunch of little cells, right? And they're all just communicating. And eventually, through, like, your organs and systems and other bodily systems and stuff. So, there's, you know, perhaps another level or so within that. But all these little cells communicate through their awareness and communication of this information. It's all the same kind of, you know, electromagnetic information sharing across these networks of communication, these feedback loops, it's so-called, of what's a fundamental basic information states of the universe, which are kind of, I guess, you know, information is basically the information of math. Not really the point here, but I mean, you know, so we just, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what information is, and, you know, you can do that too. All right, so, I just keep hearing information. Woo, what is it? And then, but all right, so let's say these basic gymnasts, so they share this electromagnetic information, okay, whatever it is, back and forth, and then, so that's, your body's created. So it's just a bunch of cells created in that. But you have your own bodily consciousness through taking in the information from the field environment, and then you take it in, and then you put back out your interpretation and interaction with it. So ultimately, and the math works out from Nassim Haramein, through his hollow fractal graphic universe that our bodies work like a black hole, of how all a black hole, white hole, torus feedback loop structure, where all the information comes in and then we interpret and put it back out, basically. But the overall basic point is, like, you got all these fucking cells interacting, and that's your consciousness, okay? And then we're no different from like a cell, and we can interact with others and produce perhaps some higher level consciousness, and even some higher level consciousness which to us, maybe thinking you are this individual, but you're really the whole thing. So there's all this conscious interaction going on, and everything's fucking conscious. And but it all has to do with these levels and how it feeds back and structures information fundamentally to what is fundamentally beyond space and time. And what this wants to do is have the best state of consciousness. So what you want to make your free choice to is what can make this highest state of information feedback structural loops for the highest state of consciousness. So maybe what this would mean is just trying to, be loving and caring for each other, because this Institute of Heart Math has found that your body's communication systems work better when you're under a more positive state of emotion. So they found this correlation between positive states of emotion and which we could call better feelings, higher levels of consciousness, and how things are organized. So you're not just a random collection of cells, you're an organized bunch of cells which are organized through this feedback loop, information sharing, communication structure. Okay? And they have this because they have this fundamental awareness. How can you communicate information if there's no awareness of the information itself? All right? So if there's this correlation between positive states of emotion, good states of feeling, and organizational structures, perhaps if we collaborate as a society, we can build this superorganism to have this higher state of consciousness, which will then, perhaps our consciousness will become that, but some consciousness will become that, and that's fundamentally us. So what you want to do with your freedom is move towards the highest state of consciousness overall existence, which will be fundamentally you. You won't miss out. No matter what you really think you are, even if you're somebody, you'll be immersed in this feedback structural loop, which will feed back more pleasant states of information to you. So, and this is still the most important fucking thing, being free and having the free choice. So maybe, forget everything I just said. Let's go back to the basic freedom shit. Maybe all you want to do is be the fundamental nature of existence to express itself, to have this creativity, to be able to choose whatever the fuck you want, to create something. Because maybe it's not all so fucking, you really can't create because it's infinite. And if it's fucking infinite, it can't just all, you can always add to something if it's infinite because it's not all contained. There's infinity. All right? So you can just, what you can do with your fucking freedom, your actual free will choice, your conscious interpretation of existence, your conscious interaction, your causal force, your actual creation, manifestation of existence itself. Through this vessel, you can create some sort of, art. This is what gets into art. You know what I mean? That's why art's important, because it's expression of the inner creativity that you have. And going back to that Nassim Haramein shit, so basically, this view is that, your freedom comes from the point beyond space and time. So if you think that, in order for there to be the Big Bang, there has to be some infinite creative force to allow for the creation of a certain universe to be able to have certain laws of physics from that point on and just do its thing, you know what I mean? So, you're saying like, no, it's not God. It's just an infinite creative force. It's like, well, isn't that what God, some people, like, whatever. Right? It's like, You don't have to call it God. And it's like, well, I mean, you don't have to not call it God. So if we're talking about the same thing, so you're saying you want to move towards the highest state of good. So it's like, why? There's no disagreement here. That's the thing. Because religions are only, or partially, let's say largely, part of this mind control thing to keep you, just for someone else, whoever they are, to benefit off of you not realizing your full potential. Now, what do these have to gain from this? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on here. A lot going on here. Just when you might think like you got some stuff figured out, boom! More stuff. All right, but so we got the freedom. Philadelphia freedom. I didn't even do that right. That's one reason I didn't sing it. Philadelphia freedom. Whatever. So I don't even live in Philadelphia. You don't have to live in Philadelphia to sing that song. Of course not. Anyways. So we need to consider consciousness, most important thing to existence. The highest, you want to move towards a better state, better feeling of consciousness, and that's what you can consciously choose with your free interpretation of the existence. Because you are a co-creator in existence, and specifically this existence, which is part of all existence. So I think that's a pretty important feature of philosophy, that we have this capacity of freedom to discuss what we should actually do. Because you can't just sit there and say you got the fucking theoretical tenets figured out of what there is and say that there's no room for conscious agency and then try to think what we should do about it. Doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's just more manipulative mind control shit. And you don't have to believe me about it. I mean, maybe it's just people are wrong. I really don't know. Don't get me wrong. I really don't know whether or not there actually is some control force trying to benefit off of some humanity's dumbed down lower potential so that they can feed off of our lower vibrational energy of like fear or something. I don't know that that's happening, but I'm pretty sure. But I can confidently say, because I have no choice otherwise, if I'm wrong, I can't be wrong, that we do have some conscious choice going on here. Doesn't make any fucking sense to say we don't. So let's just leave it at that. You gotta have, that's the most important tenet of philosophy, the fucking freedom, man. And so anytime somebody tries to tell you, it's like, science proved that, you don't have free will. That's just not true. Science, it's just within this certain context and shit. And then, with the quantum mechanics and stuff, it's coming out that consciousness has a more profound impact on reality than we ever imagined through this materialistic mindset. Because this materialism is only a certain paradigm of science and not a paradigm through which science operates in. So if the whole paradigm's wrong, then, SpaghettiOs. Now, I wanted to end it on SpaghettiOs, but it's too late for that unless I say it again. So you got to just be, go with your heart. Heart Math. Look into that shit. It's good shit. Heart Math Institute. I think hmi.org. It's their website. Heartmath.org. Pretty sure it's heartmath.org. HMI, Heart Math Institute. This is important stuff, man. We gotta, just work on this. Because I don't really know what's going on. But I'm pretty sure that saying that there's just deterministic, materialistic states and nothing to consciousness is just bullshit. And ultimately the religions, what's actually the tenets of religions doesn't seem to be the points anymore of what people make. And this is an issue. It goes into like fucking astrology and shit. I mean, it's most of it's all based on that. But no, people don't I mean, that's why there's all these holidays are based on astrological occurrences, which is mostly the way. I mean, even non-religious holidays are that way. Well, they're based on solar or lunar, but yeah, look into that. Look into like esoteric religious things. I mean, this is interesting shit. But you can't be held back by that dogma, which a lot of people are either way. But some other time, we'll talk about some other stuff. But for now, just remember, you're a free, high-flying being, and you can be whatever you want to be, because you are the ultimate thing that exists. Hasta la bye-bye. I fucked up. I didn't hit stop right away, so now, and I'm not going to edit it.